All right. So yeah, like I said, my name is Steven Sunday, and I am with Algorand. Algorand is a blockchain Web 3.0 platform, and it's just an advance of what you have on Web 2.0 or maybe other blockchain that existed before Algorand. Algorand came into existence rather just barely a year ago, and it's been doing very amazing job around the crypto space and blockchain and its entirety. Um, there are quite a lot of things that caught my attention to Algorand. Um, the fact that Algorand was able to fix what is called the blockchain trilemma, which is which is a a, a blockchain theory that was started by the founder of Ethereum. He proposed that for a blockchain to function properly or effectively, is either there has to be it has to have these three functionalities. But to the point he was trying to argue is you can't have the three functionalities at the same time. You can't have both the blockchain. Um, you can't have scalability, security, and then of course speed. So speed, which is scalability, security, and a decentralized system on a single blockchain platform. So, for instance, we all know that Ethereum to a very large extent, Ethereum has had issues with scalability. So he's proposing that for a blockchain platform, you can have a secured platform, but not a very scalable platform, or you can have a scalable platform, but and then at the same time secured but not decentralized. You can't have the three running on a blockchain at the same time. And Algorand, to the best of my knowledge, Algorand has proven that to be false. Algorand is very fast, is very secure, and then is very decentralized at the same time. So for him to propose this, I am sure it's really not a very valid or solid point, to say. Um, so Algorand has very amazing team members that have been able to put up. They've been able to make Algorand to stand out in what they are doing, in terms of scalability, in terms of service delivery. Algorand has actually been in the news to be. They've had Algorand has had, I think, the most engaging times this year, right from when the corona started up until this time. There has been great news around Algorand and all of that. So Algorand, Algorand performs a pure proof of stake, consensus algorithm, whereby everyone and anyone who is staking on Algorand can participate in consensus. So it means that you can actually have your decisions being listened to, or maybe you can be part of decision makers on Algorand by staking. And because there is no centralized system where people have to pass some certain criteria before they get selected to make decisions on Algorand, you are randomly selected to participate in consensus. So this makes it a whole lot easier, and a whole lot it brings a lot of transparency onto the system. So for Algorand, to be very honest, and to be quite honest with you, the pure proof of stake, Algorand is the first blockchain platform to actually have this running, And for me, I think, or rather, I believe that this has actually made Algorand to stand out amidst other blockchain platforms. And so I will just walk you through some things that are making Algorand very unique, and then why, of course, we should look at Algorand to be able to fix some of the blockchain limitations that we have in existence. The fact that Algorand is an open source blockchain platform makes it even more transparent, and then it operates a permissionless protocol. You don't need any form of permission to contribute to Algorand. There is also a very fast transaction speed recorded on the blockchain, on Algorand's blockchain. Of course, there's nothing like forking on the Algorand's blockchain, and of course, upgrades on chain as well. Then you can scale to billions of users. I will come to this point precisely. Looking at advantages of Algorand, one would have to agree with me that for a blockchain platform to have 1,000 transactions in 4 seconds, it's really very fast. Okay, and this is not just based on theory; it is practicable, obtainable on Algorand. You can also write smart contracts that, so for now, you can only have stateless smart contracts running on Algorand. Hopefully by next month, we should be able to use the stateful smart contracts where you can store data, you can fetch data and all of that, For now, what you can actually do is to write smart contracts that communicates directly to, it's like a give and take. Sorry, I don't want to go into very technical details, but of course, what Algorand is simply trying to achieve right now is to be able to have every kind of smart contracts completely and fully deployed on Algorand. Of course, like I told you, there has been a lot of Algorand has been in the news lately, and one of the criteria, or one of the things you will know, or rather see or notice on Algorand, is the fact that a lot of tech giants have been having one thing or the other to do with Algorand, like have a kind of synergized relationship with Algorand. Talking about the stable coins that have been deployed on Algorand, or rather, that have some form of integration with Algorand. Talking about even people from the gaming system, quite a lot of things, quite a lot of people actually taking part in they are trying to do some form of integration on Algorand. Also, so you might want to ask, so how can you take part in Algorand? How can you be able to stake on Algorand and all of that? You can be able to purchase. Sorry, I hope this place is not too noisy for you. Okay. So like I said, you can be able to purchase different you can be able to purchase algos from different blockchain blockchain exchanges rather. So you can see them listed on my screen: Binance, OKX, Gates.io, Bitmarks, Crypto.com. I'm just doing a quick rush through so that I will jump into the main discussion for today. We will be looking at, I'll just help you understand how you can build solutions on Algorand and then, of course, deploy to the mainnet, and why you have to, sorry for the echo. Okay. So you have to join again. Sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so you can just you can buy from any of these exchanges, and so like I was saying, there are quite a lot of tech giants that have synergized with Algorand to be able to have solid solutions being deployed, solid solutions running on Algorand. There's an African project already. Akon, the popular musician, wants to do a blockchain project in Africa, and he has gone ahead to build um, something like a tech city, okay, that runs completely on blockchain, and that the city runs completely on blockchain, and he has his crypto. You can see down here on the beneath here, you can see Acoin. Now Acoin is his own cryptocurrency that will be used in that city in Senegal. So this is just one out of many projects that I do. Myself, I am building two solutions to be deployed very soon on Algorand. The first blockchain, the first stable coin on the first stable coin was deployed on, or rather has some form of integration with Algorand. So there are quite a lot of interesting projects that have been deployed on Algorand. And to be very honest with you, aside Ethereum, I have seen quite a lot of integration around Algorand. Like I have seen quite a lot of people joining forces, to want to deploy or rather provide services with some form of integration on Algorand and all of that. So, like I said, the reason why I'm doing this quick rush through is to introduce you to what Algorand is, and then, of course, to now there's an issue. I wrote an article recently and published it. There's an issue that I identified, and as a tech entrepreneur, I thought it wise to have this call. So how can we use blockchain to fix the corruption that is happening around Africa and is making Africans poor? So you would agree with me because we're in Nigeria. So let me cite an instance with Nigeria. Now, recently there has been a probe that was going on in the National House of Assembly, where people were asked to account for monies that were spent without any form of accountability. Now, one of the features of blockchain is it is decentralized, it is very transparent. So imagine if NDDC had deployed their budget on the blockchain, where you and I can easily verify. If they had done that, it means that we would have had records of how the 81 billion was spent, not to call someone who is going to go and cook papers and then come and show us. Now, that is just one out of many incidents. The whole system in Africa is marred by a lot of irregularities, where people get to get to be told things without actually verifying. So Africa is the continent, I think, the continent that receives the highest form of donation globally. But yet we have the poorest of the poor in Africa, in fact, especially in Nigeria. Uh, so systems are actually very irregularized, and you can't verify most of these things that are happening in terms of public funds, in terms of governance spendings, and all of that. So if we can do for instance, we have a budgeting solution that says for every budget to be passed in Nigeria, it has to be deployed on the blockchain and then it has to be open source where we can verify constituency projects, we can verify government spendings. If the government has approved 50 billion naira for a road rehabilitation, we should be able to verify, we should be able to hold people accountable. Now with that, I bet you that things will be fixed, system will be checked, and all of that. So for me, as entrepreneurs, I know someone on the call that has a delivery service, a company that he does deliveries and all of that. I know quite like a few of you are into you buy things and sell and all of that. So if you can be able to verify if I have a goods to be delivered to, for instance, I want to send goods to Lagos from Jos. I do Irish potato and all of that, and I want to send it to Lagos, and I want to make sure that the owner gets, or rather, the final consumer gets the goods intact, and then, of course, it should be verifiable that these things were received without any form of damage or anything. I should be able to verify these things. So, in terms of supply chain, we could also deploy these blockchain functionalities in terms of e-commerce. I know quite a number of you on the call as well that are into e-commerce and all of that. To just promote transparency and then to improve efficiency and to be able to take out middlemen who would do nothing but rather make a whole chunk of money from the services you provide. So for me, I feel if we can be able to port our businesses to the blockchain, that will actually help us to even provide better services and then to also have people trust us the more. Because if it's transparent and then can be verifiable, of course you're buying trust. So for instance, we're building a solution, myself and a company in synergy with a company called Tijara Concept. We're building a solution that will help fix the issue of land fraud. And so in the case whereby you buy a piece of land, so you can be able to you can get genuine land titles from land and survey from the government. You can really get verifiable land titles. So for us, what we're trying to do is to be able to increase transparency, to promote transparency, to make people a lot more dependent on, let's improve our interrelationship. So, the whole concept behind blockchain is to make people to relate with each other on a peer-to-peer level. So whereby you don't need anybody to interfere before you provide any form of service. You can be able to have control over your funds, over your resources. So where Algorand is going to fit into this is for Africa, any form of solution that will be provided for Africa has to be a super speed solution, based on the fact that our population is actually very huge. Nigeria alone is about 200 million people. And if you are providing a blockchain solution, okay, so let me explain to you the way the blockchain works. If I deploy a solution, if I have a solution on my mobile phone and you type, if it's a text solution, just like WhatsApp, once you are typing on WhatsApp, if the person is on the chat, immediately you send the message. Once it is delivered and read, it will change to a blue color. Now, the way blockchain works is, blockchain is slower. So when you send a response, when I send a chat, hi, now it goes to a different, now see how it works. This is my hi. My hi has to come to this location before it gets back to you as hi. Okay, so the process, usually it fetches data before it gives out data. So it has to go through like a circle, to be. So if you don't have a very super speed solution, I bet you people won't be able to have. That's the problem that some of the new blockchain solutions had, or protocol had. The fact that they are not scalable, and it's making them a lot more slower. And then people are really judging blockchain speed with the experiences they've had with those the first generation of blockchain protocol. So for us on Algorand, speed is actually a priority, and that's why you can be able to have 1,000 transactions in 4 seconds block time. So it means that you can have 250 transactions per second. This is real time. This is not theory kind of suggest. This is not something from theory. This is like real time solution. So for me, what I would advise is, whatever solution you're building, it shouldn't just stop at theory. Okay, it should be able to give you real time experience. So if I'm building a solution called, for instance, I'm building a solution called Garwa, okay, the solution that people can easily order for water and all of that, it should be able to connect me with a whole lot of users. For instance, in Plateau State, if people are going to use my application, I should know in my head that I might have 1,000 people ordering for this solution at the same time. So scalability is a big issue, is a watchword for Algorand. Algorand is very keen in terms of scalability. That's why we're trying to, we're building solutions that will scale to billions of users, and of course, thousands of users should be able to use it at the same time. Okay, that proves the power of scalability. That shows that this solution can actually stand the test of time. So for us, what we're trying to do is not just to build, not just to engage community, not just to have people on Algorand, but of course to have scalable solutions being deployed on Algorand. And so for me, if we are trying to fix the issue of corruption and then trying to help people get, or maybe try to save Africa or the continent or the country, critical look of Nigeria would be that we're trying to save Nigeria from the budget padding. In fact, it starts from there. It starts from some projects being kept under the carpet simply because someone has some certain interest, or rather someone wants to steal money under certain projects. So for us, it will be that we need to begin to make public spendings, okay, actually public. So if we have a budget of 10 trillion naira, the public should be able to see how every kobo is being spent to the latter. So every penny on that 10 trillion should be publicized. People should get to know. So for instance, with what happened with the NDDC probe, nobody's being held accountable. The Senate is proposing people should be sacked, but that's not what we want. We need our money to be refunded back. That's public funds, and someone shouldn't just go home, and sleep over our money. We should have people being held accountable. So if we can deploy systems that will make spendings to be scrutinized, okay, that will go a long way in fixing the issue of corruption in Africa. One of the things that has actually made Nigerians very poor over time is the fact that there has been massive corruption. Now you discover that it's either NNPCs accused of spending money without approval, or the judiciary is accused of bribery or corruption, or the executive is accused of spending money without due process. Well, everything just goes. Public funds are actually being mismanaged without being questioned. So if we can fix this, it will go a long way actually. If we can make the system hold these guys accountable, we can make the system if we can fix the system to make them answer questions, then of course we will be able to see some level of growth. Nigeria is among the highest exporter of crude oil for years, and we've been getting poor and poor and poor by the day, simply because our systems permit corruption along the line. So also, if you are interested in some form of funding on Algorand, we have a window for you to be able to apply for funding. You have a solution, you have an existing solution, you can actually get some form of funding. There's currently a window for people to apply for funding up to about 250,000 US dollars in funding. The first batch, you would receive funding of 15,000 US, and then the second round will accommodate. The second round will be about 250,000. So, of course, working in synergy with you will be able to achieve and help Africa, and and all of that. I would give room. Okay, I think I have 2 questions here. How can I participate in? How can I get active on the Algorand? Okay, so in terms of being active, what do you mean? You have a solution you want to deploy, you want to join the community, whatever. Okay, if you have a solution you want to deploy, I can guide you through. But of course, you can go to developer.algorand.org, where you will be able to find documentations. Your developers can be able to find useful tools. And of course, if you need any form of help, I can be able to guide you through on how you can take advantage of those tools that we have already. Okay, so the second question is, okay. Yeah, there are. So the question is, are there some use cases already in Africa? Are there some so for the one I know is actually the partnership with Akons. I don't know of any other African project. Of course, like I said, I'm deploying my solution, so my solutions might probably be the next to be on board with Algorand. Yeah, and okay, there is one last question. Okay, I'm not sure I understand the question, but it's okay. All right, okay. So the question is how. Okay. So I have a solution and I want to deploy on Algorand. How do I go about it? Okay, yeah, like I said, you need to get your developers to be to go to www.developer.algorand.org, and there are all the documentations there to help you deploy anything you want on Algorand. Yeah, like to be quite honest, like I said, all you need to do is to just understand how this thing works, and then sorry, I just stopped sharing. Sorry. To understand how this thing works, and then of course you can take advantage of the documentations that are there. There are quite a lot of video tutorials as well that are there that you can take, like you can actually uh, take hold of. You can just follow if